When my kids were little, the thought of going shopping with them would sometimes terrify me, but it is not the reality that we can always have them at home with someone else looking after them. So, as a retailer, what can you do in your retail store to help the experience of the parents and the kids so that when they are in your store, the kids are a little more occupied and therefore the parents are far more likely to spend money with you? Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. As I said, my kids are now older, they're in their 20s, so I don't have to worry about this anymore. I can go wherever I want. But when the kids were little, it would always be a bit of a worry, and particularly some stores, going into those stores with the children. I was always very respectful of the kids and making sure that they didn't disrupt the store and disrupt everyone else who was in there. But I think it's also should be part of the job of the retailer to actually consider what they can do for the family, for the individual or the couple who come into your store with their kids to help ensure that that experience is the best possible experience for them. And to do that, if the kids can be happier, if they can be occupied, then you're going to find that that experience is better for the parents as well. Now, the longer the parents can be in the store, the more chance you have that they're going to spend money and spend more money with you. So it's a win-win. So today I just wanted to share a few ideas of what we've done in the past and what other ideas I've considered that could be done in retail stores to help parents who have got young children. Children probably from toddler age up to sort of about 8, maybe even 10, and to make that experience a little easier for the parents. And as I say, the end objective is to ensure that they have a great experience in your store so they're more likely to come in more often, and each time they come, obviously spend money with you. Now, we know a lot of people bring iPads into retail stores or into restaurants with the kids to keep them occupied, and that's great. They're obviously doing something to try and keep their kids entertained. But that's also becoming a bit of the norm for the children, so it may not have as much uh, pull on their time and their commitment to investing in whatever they're watching that they may have in the past. So, great if the parents have got something there, but let's look at the other things that we can do. So, the first thing that's important in the store is actually going to be the aesthetics of your store and the setup. If you want families to come into your store, are they friendly for prams? Do you have enough room in your aisles that prams can easily get through each of your aisles? If the children are in the prams, are their hands going to be going out and grabbing things as they go past, or is there enough space so that they can actually get the pram through? Now, it may not mean that they can get down every aisle. A lot of stores, obviously, small spaces really at a premium. So you might have one or two main aisles that the prams can go down, and some of the others are a bit smaller where they, maybe the pram is sort of slightly to the edge with the parent. But that's a great first option to make sure that they can actually get in. So you've got a ramp if you need to at the front door for strollers, or an easy step or something, or someone who can help a parent so that they can get that child in the store. Because remember, it's not just babies that are going to be in prams. You could have very easily up to sort of 3, 4, maybe even 5-year-olds sitting in there if they're happy to sit rather than being running around the store. And obviously for parents, if their child is happy sitting in a stroller, they're going to feel more comfortable that they're not got a child who is running around your store and can potentially break things. And that's obviously not what they want to do when they're in there. So, what else can we do in the store to have a space or activities to keep those kids occupied very easily so that the parents, as I said, can relax a little bit and purchase more? Now, before I share these ideas, there's one other point I want to make, and that is you are not a childcare service. You want to make it very clear that even if you have an area for children, that this is not staffed. It's the parents' responsibilities to look after the children. It's the parents' responsibility to look after the child. If there's an activity or anything, you're not there with staff to babysit and to be childminders. So if you do provide any services, just be aware of the wording that might be around if it is an area that children can be, that makes it clear that it's parents' responsibility to still look after those children so they don't say that it's on you. God forbid anything happens. All right. So just keep that in mind as well. The first idea worth considering is a simple colouring sheet. It's very easy to print out some PDFs. You could maybe make it themed depending on what your business is. So, something that's relevant to your store if that's appropriate, and have a colouring in sheet on a clipboard and just a small little packet of pencils that go with that. So the child could sit at the feet of the parent, for example, in the different areas where the parent is looking at items, and they will be occupied. So there's nothing difficult about having some PDF printed colouring in sheets that the kids can actually then use. And as I said, keep to pencils, don't use texters or anything that's going to cause damage. Have small packs of those so you can have a few of them available in case there are a couple of kids in the store at the same time. The second idea is books. Could you have a couple of books that you have set aside, and you can say to the parents, I've got these books here, have obviously different books for different age groups, and so the parents could grab something that's a new book that the child could read when they come into the store. It could be if the child really loves books, it could be that that's something, a reason that they'll say to their parent, hey, let's go into that store. You know, when they're 4 or 5, they want to go and visit the store where they get to read the books. It's not hard to do, and it's something that will entertain the children long enough that the parents can have a good look at what they're after and make that purchase. When we had our Christmas store, one of the things we found is we had a lot of families who would visit us. So mum and dad would come with the children, and they were there particularly for a longer time if they're looking to buy a Christmas tree. Big investment, so they wanted to do it together and make the decision together. So they would have the kids with them as well. So what I would do is I had a little bag of shatterproof ornaments. I made sure the caps were glued on so they were secure and safe. And I would ask the children if they would like to decorate a Christmas tree for me. And so we would choose a tree that was close to mum and dad so that they could stand there and put the decorations onto the tree. Quite often we'd find that one parent would be with the staff member talking about the tree while the other was sort of entertaining with the child, doing this activity. They might have been a bit shy with us to begin with, but I would always say, show me when you finish. We'd love to see what you've done. They would love to get that little bit of praise at the end when they've decorated the tree. And it gave the parents time to have a proper one-on-one conversation with us where we could share the important information about the trees and help them with their decision-making process. And then, as I said, the other parent might swap so that we could share the information with the parent who was originally helping. So if you could have some activity, if there's space in your store or it's relevant in your store to have an area that the children could have some sort of play activity, then that's a great option as well. Again, we're not a childminder. You want to make sure the parents are there looking after the kids as well in this situation. Another simple thing that we tried in the store was the little kitty tattoos that you use water to put onto the hand. So we would have some that were themed for us for Christmas, but you could have some fun themes, little tattoos that children could choose, and you could have one of the staff members put those on. Again, always ask parents' permission first before you're doing anything. Again, parents should be with the child. But again, what it's doing, it's making the child enjoy interacting at your store, and they are part of the buying process. If they're not happy, they're going to make mum and dad leave that store, and then they might go, oh, can't be bothered again. I'm just going to buy online. I'm just going to do something else, or I'll buy the cheap one this year, and when the kids are older or when I've got time, I'll go and buy what I really need. So if you can have that child engaging with you and engaging with your store in any of these ways that make them feel happy about coming, then you've got a real win going on for you. The other thing you can get is little stamps. So some fun little star stamps. You can sometimes get little face paint uh, things like I know for the football, for example, they have a face paint that, I'm North Melbourne supporters, so that's blue and white. So they have blue and white stripes that they can just very easily swipe onto the face without having someone there who's a face painter. So that's another option for you. And the final thought is we would always have some sort of sweet treat. Again, it's a Christmas shop, it's an indulgence, it's an experience, and it's a destination. And so we would have little shortbreads that were individually wrapped in the store. And so when we had kids coming in, and we would obviously offer to parents as well, then we could offer these to the children. Now, first of all, obviously make sure you ask parents first. In choosing whatever food it is that you have, we would always go for the lowest allergy option, so never any nuts involved, just to minimize any risks. And then the other thing in deciding what we would have is we would consider dirty fingers, and we didn't want them on all of our stuff as well. So therefore, we would the shortbread worked really well because there was no mess involved. So that's something else to consider. So if you had a little sweet treat, that's something else that you could offer to the children once you've asked the parents' permission to ensure that they've got no intolerances or so forth. So, there are a few simple ideas that you can very easily add to your retail store. Now, if you have more space, you might have a small dedicated area that's secured for children. Again, making it clear that the parents are looking after the children, though, not you, but it does make it easy for them so that their fingers aren't touching all of the breakables that you might have in your store. All these other ideas don't require a lot of space. And so you can decide to very easily add them into your store and keep those kids connected with your store. So, according to the National Retail Foundation, 9 out of 10 families say that the children have some influence on the buying decision. So, it's really important to remember that and to remember that they are not to be ignored. If you can involve them in having a bit of an experience in your store, you really are going to win over the parents and win over the kids. And hopefully that means you're going to make more money for yourself with more sales in your store. All right, so that's it for today's Keep It Simple series, KISS series, a simple 1 point actionable tips that you can use in your retail store. So thank you so much for joining me again today. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. Any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. I'd love to hear from you. All right, have a sensational day and I'll see you soon. Bye.